Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all of these questions kind of circle around what I was going to ask. Do you have, internally, do you have a professional grants department that they are applying for these grants?
Yeah.
You know, not, how do I want to say this?
Let me say this.
Not just a departmental person applying for
The city manager and I, over I don't know how long, have had a discussion about this because it's my opinion we should have one person
Yes.
on the staff who does nothing
Right.
but monitor grants. But naturally,
Or
the city manager has to administer to all of these programs, and at the moment, I would suggest he probably doesn't have staff in order to do that.
You don't necessarily have to have a staff position. You can bring in an external person, which then is using up different dollars.
We have a.
Oh, wait, let me finish, okay? Just one point. I've been dying to
We're
say this.
anticipating it.
Okay. I know through my own experience and through experience with other people, when they switched over to a professional grant writer, okay, someone who did this for a business, and they did it with a consultant on a consultant basis. They went from a $30,000 a year grant, acceptance to $1.5 million. Okay, there's a big difference. I mean, it's kind of a unique job, if you will, this grant writing. And if you get someone who really knows what they're doing, and they have a high success rate, you can get a lot more dollars in.
We do have some real excellent grant writers.
But I'm talking about a professional.
I understand what you're
license,
saying.
a licensed
I don't
grant
know
writer.
if,
It makes a difference,
I'll have the city
We
manager.
have a contract with a grant writing firm
okay?
that our staff can use. We have many grants, particularly through the engineering and transportation department,
Yes.
through our environmental services department, that write grants and have brought in many dollars. We also get grants for law enforcement and other activities.
Hey, Sheldon, don't run on.
But I'm talking about a lot of these programs, a lot of these team programs and eliminating these things that are being eliminated, community services. I mean, if you can show justification, there are grants that are obtainable for these kinds of things.
There are grants, we could talk about this probably
Like I said.
later on, but there aren't as many grants. There's a lot of competition for grants,
Right,
and the process is slow.
right.
One of the things with the stimulus funding, the mayor was talking about youth programs, it all goes to the county agencies, Workforce Investment Board, and then it's doled out to the local agencies where they handle it themselves. So oftentimes there's money is siphoned off, it takes a longer period of time than if we had money, we would try to put people to work immediately.
Right.
But your point's well taken.
Yeah, and another thing there, those of us who are mayors in this country have again gone back, I've gone back to DC, to the administration. We've talked to Cecilia Muniz, Valerie Jarrett, all of these, staff members of the Obama administration. And we've asked them to bypass the states and get the funding direct to local governments, while the answer to us is it's much easier to deal with 50 mayors than 3,000 or 4,000, governors than 3,000 or 4,000 mayors. So a lot of the funding comes through the state. And naturally, we all know our state is in serious financial condition. And I've mentioned to both Obama and the U.S. Conference of Mayors, to his staff, that in the state of California, you have to bypass the state capitol, please, because if it goes to them, we'll never see it. Before going on, I'd like to introduce the fire chief of Alameda County. And maybe you might want to ask him a question about, he understands going to Sacramento and tracking funding. So you might want to give a quick
Just one little
tidbit.
add-on. I'm not talking about going to the federal government or going to the state. I'm talking about going to there are a lot of other agencies that can apply for grants. That's all I wanted to say. I understand the problem when you go to the
You
state.
do have a number of foundations out there.
Yes.
Gates Foundation and the CEO of Gates, I've been to her sessions You know, there's a woman who heads up the Gates Foundation. I've heard her. But there are a lot of factors in getting grants. They're not that easy because you're competing
Yes.
with many different agencies, and I don't know how they select where the money is going. And quite naturally, one of the things we face too is the fact that a lot of this money is going to the big cities. Quite naturally, big cities have far greater problems than we have. You know, if you look around at where even stimulus dollars are going, city of San Francisco, city of San Jose, and even the city of Oakland, the feeling that their needs are, and I personally have complained about that, as have other mayors of cities of our size. We've all complained. It doesn't do us a lot of good to complain, because we don't see any result from our complaining. But we have to attempt to make the case. And just, I get, you know, I'll tell you, I get emails. I got an email today from Cecilia Muniz on the healthcare reform package, and I also received 2 emails today from the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors on programs she wants to set up for us on a national basis. And I look at it, I'm wondering what are we going to get out of all this. We do interact with everybody. I'm going to Oklahoma City in June. I've asked the city manager or the assistant city manager, Leanne, say hello. Leanne Marshall, our assistant city manager, to come with me, but for dollar-wise, chosen not to do so. So I will go by myself and continue my efforts to do what I can for this city.
Can we